Hello, hello. Our video has not shown. Is it showing? Hello, hello. Our video has not shown. Is it showing? Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Hanging Out with Temi. On Hanging Out with Temi, my name is Temi Ajayi, and it's always good to see everybody. How are you, ladies?
Really good.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hey, Liz, it's good to see another color. It's crazy looking color. What's up?
Yeah. And I'm changing a little bit.
Okay, but it's
Yeah,
good. It's good to
trying
change.
new things.
Good. It's really good. We're looking up to you. We're following you. Don't worry.
Good. I'm a trendsetter.
I know you're a trendsetter. It's okay. How's your week been?
Me, it
Yes.
has been eventful, really. Of course, with the topic that you've covered last week,
Yes.
and everything that was happening, in that regard was quite insightful and also very thought-provoking, coming to realize how much is happening even right here in Australia. And generally speaking, just thinking about, is this ever going to end? Because, I mean, we've been fighting this issue of racial discrimination, before we were born. The battle was already on, and we're still seeing how that has entrenched, into the systems that, currently governs us. So I'm really just sitting here thinking, is this ever gonna end? I don't know.
Yeah, good question, Liz. It's a big topic. I don't think anybody can actually get to the end of it, but it's good to be talking about. In fact, like an hour ago or so, I was talking to a gentleman, Josh. He's probably watching us now. We were talking about this forever, and fortunately, he's into interracial relationship, and he was talking about racism. I'm like, oh, well, this is what we're about. And he said he's going to be following. He's actually started following us. I just saw him following us. So it's okay. And we know that you went and marched in solidarity last week, but we're going to get there. Let's keep going. Heidi, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank you.
We missed you last week as well. How's your week been this week?
Fantastic. It's always busy and always great. I love being busy.
It's a problem, I know. Me too. Me too. I love being busy. Me too. It's good. And Helen, oh my gosh, I've never seen Helen being busy like this week. I don't know what the thing was because we've not been able to talk. It's like, oh, this and that and that. What happened? What was different this week, Helen?
I think just as we're coming out of social isolation, And, you know, the normal routine is picking up. And so there's, you know, instead of Zoom calls during the week, there's now meetings to go to and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, it's been a busy week.
I thought so. But today is going to be a fun day. How about that for a change? Of course, our friend is not here today, Ima. She's probably watching. It's her 25th wedding anniversary today. So she's chilling out somewhere in town, secluded area. So can we shout out to Ima? Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Ima.
Happy anniversary, Ima.
It's cute. Enjoy your day, Ima. And for all of you that are watching us, thank you. Please share this page. Call a friend, like as I always say. Find a kappa, get a kappa and share with a friend, because today's topic is another vital. Because we've been talking about expectations, haven't we? We've been talking about parental expectation, this expectation, and today is marital engagement expectations. You know, and we said there were good expectations and there were bad expectations, and there's a way that you're going to meet in the middle, especially when you're talking about relationship to make it work. And the question we're looking at is this interracial, and considering everything else, like you said, Liz, that is happening now and continue to happen about racism, about prejudices, about all those things, interracial relationship, is it encouraged? Does it work? Is it going to work? Has it been working? I actually checked the Bureau of Statistics, Australian Bureau of Statistics, and it says in Australia, there's been 20% increase in interracial relationship. This was in 2015. So 25 years down the track, it's probably gone to 40%. So this is going to happen. We cannot continue to stop it. So if that is the case, then we probably need to know how to, like I said, coexist, how to value and appreciate one another, and don't deceive one another to say something, this color, that color, because it's not nobody is going to win at the end if we continue like that. So that's why I think it's really timely and relevant for us to know about this, our topic today. So the question we're looking at, interracial relationship, in your own opinion, Liz, in your own opinion, no judgmental, no sentimental, it is gonna happen. It's happening, it will continue to happen. So what do you see could be one of the problems with this interracial? But seriously, there are some problems that you cannot actually avoid. There are issues that could make it work or not work. In your opinion, Liz, what do you reckon?
Yeah, interracial relations, for me, personally, also, I've been married interracially all my life. In the sense,
I love that.
in the sense that I'm Namibian, and my husband is not Namibian, so that in itself really calls for a lot more from both the two of us to be able to get along. So I think one deal breaker that I have observed all this while is the predisposition, if it is a predisposition, not wanting to change. Because I have personally discovered that we change as human beings. And if you personally, as an individual, doesn't engage yourself to be able to expect that, my partner's going to change, I am going to change, how am I going to approach this? And have a, mature approach towards this thing that's going to happen in any of the different facets of a human being and the issues that we will be dealing with interracially. If that does not happen, then definitely it's heading to disaster. That's number one thing for me.
Fantastic. Heidi.
I believe that marriages stay like intact and people stay together in a marriage. It has nothing got to do with where they're coming from and where they are, whether they are, you know, from the same country, from the same religion, from the same whatever. I believe marriage is congruent when there is a match of values, whatever that is. So it's all about the values. So if I have the same values like my husband or my partner, and this partner is like doesn't look like me, does not, you know, is not coming from the same place or country like me, I reckon that marriage will stay longer than other people, and you know, it will be a stronger relationship than other people married and they're from the same country and they're from the same religion and everything, even from the same tribe and same city, but you know, they don't have the same values. It won't last. It's about values, I think.
Helen?
Yeah, I think, yeah, like Heidi said, it's about values. For me, I was married to a Zambian for 3.5 years, and that didn't work out. But yeah, I think it comes down to, yeah, being prepared to change. Like you said, Liz, it's about being prepared to change and to compromise and not being, well, this is who I am, that's who you are, nothing I can do, and then that's it. Do you know what I mean? It's about having the attitude of, we're in this together, let's work at it, let's see what we can do, let's, you know, get to the root issues of what the problems are. Yeah. But I think definitely in Australia, you know, like when I was growing up in Australia, it was pretty much white Australia. And so, you know, you were pretty much guaranteed to marry another white Australian. But now we're such a culturally diverse country, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to marry somebody from another culture. So I think it's a matter of, yeah, learning to adjust and to incorporate one another's culture within your marriage, and to be able to discuss that even before you get married, to be able to see if you're going to be actually a good match, if you can actually work together, if the two cultures can blend.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, because I wanted to ask, you know, in terms of this adjusting and the incorporation of the cultures, when would you advise this discussion happens, and is there a time limit in terms of this discussion? You know, this is when it happens, and after that, you know, we kind of cruise, or does anybody have a suggestion or anything to say with regards to that?
I think it should happen all the way from, you know, you start out as friends, and so you know, you're learning each other's cultures there, and then it just continues on going as you become, you know, if you identify that, hey, this is a potential partner, then you discuss further what that might look like, what the cultural aspects are involved in that. Yeah, and just keep, you know, as the relationship grows deeper, then you discuss deeper issues.
Heidi, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Helen if it's okay with you, because I'm really interested in this relationship that you had. How was it? Yeah, how was it that you actually, like, how did you introduce your partner to your family?
How did we do it? Because he was in Zambia, and so initially it started with a phone call to my mother. Yeah, he called her from Zambia to Australia and spoke with her over the phone. And then ultimately when he came to Australia, then it was the big meet. And yeah, so we travelled down there to rural country Victoria, and yeah, he met Mum in person and my two brothers, and yeah.
Okay.
Was
So
it
was
smooth,
yeah.
the transition?
Well, by that time we were married, so you know they had to make the most of it. So you know, yeah.
yes, yeah. Must have been challenging.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. What else can you do? Like, you know, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, quite interesting. So, you mean to say that it has got nothing to do with how long you date in terms of how successful you're gonna be? Is that it, Heidi?
I think timing, yeah, has, you know, like I think time does play a role in how long you take, you know, in because things come out over time, you know, personalities, you know, when you first, as with anybody, when you first start dating, you're on your best behavior, aren't you? And then as you go through things together and you watch each other in different situations, then things come to the surface that either take you either way, yay or nay. Maybe he is the one, maybe he's not the one, you know. So I think time plays a part as well, as all the discussions, yeah.
Heidi, how long did you date, Heidi?
Okay, I met him in April. We got engaged in July. We got married in January.
Wow.
And
Wow.
because basically I wasn't really allowed to date for a long time because my parents, you know, we come from a very strict family and all of that. So it's like, okay, you've seen him 2 times. What, you're not getting married already? It's
Yeah.
like, well, you're not gonna have to make a decision. Why are you so late?
Yeah.
You know, other people make
Yeah.
decisions like, you know, over the phone sort of thing. So it was difficult, and it's different story, like from my culture and my family specifically, very, very strict. And it took like, you know, this is exactly what happened. First time I seen a man was in April, Easter in April, and then we get engaged in July, and we got married in January. So in less than 12 months, it all happened. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You see,
And Heidi, can I ask, were you of the same culture or were you of different culture to your?
Yes, we come from the same country, we have the same
Yep.
culture, we go to the same church, we
Yep.
have the same, yes, it's
Yep.
yeah. But it was just
I
what
was saying, I was saying, you know, we are the parents that we have been waiting for. Our parents have raised us in the way they best knew how to, and they've passed on, you know, whatever teachings and values they best knew how to, and it's our turn to raise our children. And based on that, you know, there's the expectations that were passed on to us. How are we passing on those expectations? What flexibility are we giving our children in terms of how long they date, whom they date? You know, do they go online? Is that the best? Do they meet face to face? Rather, is that the best? How are we treating this thing of how long do we date and where do we meet? Unfortunately, I don't have children, so I can't speak to that. But I'll leave it open-ended. Let me hear what you guys say.
we've got Temi back. Temi's here.
I'm back, but I can't actually get the gallery on my phone. I don't know what went to my computer. So you keep going. I was listening to you, but I'm doing this on my phone, but I need to do the computer. So excuse me, guys, ladies, keep going.
Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, I'll speak about my children.
Okay.
So my daughters, I've got a daughter in year 12, so she's not 18 yet. She's turning 18. And, you know, we've discussed the topic dating and boys and all of that many times, as you do if you've got teenage girls. And, you know, we've decided that, you know, we're not going to go into the dating game till we're adults. So I told her, you know, I prefer and I feel that, you know, it's a better fit for you because of the family and the structure and everything that we've got and all of that, that you start dating after 18, and after you actually finish your 12 and you've got some time and you've got some flexibility in your time and all of that. So we've done that. She said, okay, in terms of expectations of who she's dating, I did not impose on her that she was going to date someone from the same culture or anything like that. No, not at all.
Hey, our guests are coming, ladies. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm trying to zoom in. Sorry, can you see me?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, hello. How are you, David? How are you, Rebecca? Welcome to Hanging Out with Teddy.
How are you?
We're doing really well. We've been expecting happy anniversary.
Thank you. Sorry we're late. We had a few little glitches with the computer that we were trying to work out.
Oh my, I'm still trying. Oh, here we are. Oh my gosh. Please take this one away.
Back. I want to fix that back. Okay.
Having a few
Better. There we go.
Okay,
there we
much
go.
better, yeah.
I'm so sorry. What a drama. I was listening to all the topic, the Zambian, the this. Oh my gosh. Never mind. Welcome to Hanging Out with Temi and meet my ladies. Heidi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Heidi.
How are you?
Good.
Helen.
Hi.
Hi, Helen.
Hello, Helen.
And Liz is there.
And Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Welcome the winners. That's David and Rebecca Werner. Thank you for honoring our invitation today. We'll be yabbing, and I don't want to miss any part of this conversation. When I meet, I'm like, oh my God, what did they say? I don't want to miss that bit. But thank God it's recorded and we can go back and I can go back and listen to everything very well. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yesterday was their anniversary.
Nice. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
16 years, 16
Wow.
years of marriage.
That's
I
a
know.
long time.
Yeah.
You don't look old enough to have been married for 16 years.
I was going to say that.
Thank you.
And by the way, you've got 4 children. Joel is 14. Israel is 11. Esther is 10. And Shanae is 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the truth.
That's it. What a job. What a job. We're not going to waste time. We're not going to waste time, David and Rebecca. Thank you for coming. We thought we're talking about interracial relationship, and you guys have been, to say the least, you've been a very icon in our community. A big icon, by the way. We don't know how you do it, so we thought, can you share with us your secret? How are you doing it? And the first question, without even wasting time, is David. Was it love at first sight when you saw Rebecca? You said this was going to be my wife, or how did it all happen?
Good question.
Can you tell us?
Definitely.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
was love at first sight?
Yeah, of course. When I saw you first time was. Yeah.
Yeah. Really? And Rebecca, is that what you saw too? Was it love at first sight?
Well, I can't say it was love at first sight, because the beginning of our relationship was, we didn't immediately form a relationship when we met each other. So I definitely had an eye for him, but I can't say it was love at first sight, only because of the situation that we were in at the time where.
Oh, really? So it started with a situation.
What was the question? Sorry.
Wow.
What was the question? What was the last part that you just asked?
I said, so it started with a situation.
It was a very, very interesting situation. And I think that's how we know it was God that brought us together, because the very early stages of us getting together would not have looked like we would have ended up together at all.
Wow. Wow.
David's always very apprehensive about me.
She's making me embarrassing, Hala.
You should be used to it for 16 years. So.
I know.
And I'm a talker. I talk, and I share.
She can talk here all time. Me, I will shut up because she talk and talk and talk.
And that's what I like about Ozzy.
I'll get you to talk. That's good.
My mom says I could talk the leg off a chair.
Real Aussie talk, and it's good because that's how you learn. That's why you get informed. Because if you don't talk, you don't get information, and you're not gonna grow, and you can't live like that. So you know why you're very safe with people like that, because what you see is what you get. There's no hidden agenda, and that's a very good.
That's right. And David has always said to me, and even to this day, he still says I talk too much. But I said, I'm a communicator. I need to talk. He says, even when I meet people, I ask too many questions, but I say, I ask questions because I'm interested in people and I love to get to know people. And he's always like, no, it's interrogation. Stop questioning.
Interrogation. So that's fantastic. And the ladies have got so many questions for you. I think, Liz, you've got one for them.
Wow.
Yes, I know. Be ready.
Be ready when
Be ready.
When are you in trouble?
I think on my part, either of the two of you can answer this really, but it's for both of you in terms of when you introduced, each other with the families, what was the reaction, and how was the person you were introducing received by the family? How did that go?
Yeah. So David and I met here in Australia, obviously. So this is where I was raised, but David has come to Australia and been here for 20 years.
Nearly 20 years now.
And he still does not have one family member here. So in actual fact, I haven't met any of David's family in person. So they didn't really have a choice whether they were going to accept me or not. But my family, however, when I approached them and said I felt that we felt that this was going to, that we were called to be together and we wanted to get married. My parents are Christians, so they were very open to, they were knowing of that I would always pray about things, that I would always hear from the Lord first. But they were a little bit apprehensive because we don't have any other cultures in our family. I grew up in a very, very Australian family in a country town, not in the city. And we were very strong in the Australian culture. So they were very concerned, only not out of any sort of racism towards color or nationality, more so out of just, do I understand the African culture? Right. Do I understand what I'm marrying into? We hadn't been together very long before we were deciding to get married. In fact, it was not even 6 months. So we married very quick. Wow. And so they were more concerned about, really, was this just falling into a place of, oh, we're in love, we're getting married, but we didn't see what could potentially lie ahead. And so there were a lot of questions, there were a lot of concerns, but we were planted in a church at the time with a pastor that was our father and our shepherd and our spiritual mentor, and he was from Congo. So he counseled us leading up to our wedding, leading up to our marriage, and also in the very early stages of our marriage. And that was a tremendous blessing for us in what really helped us through those early very bumpy stages.
Bumpy road.
Wow. I was gonna say that African, we're one. So even though David hasn't got his direct family, but I know that he's embedded in this family, Australia, Congolese, but the same, they're very close family. They might not be blood, and sometimes you don't even know who is blood, who is not blood. So really, if they welcome you, the ones in back home already welcome you. It's the same thing. That's how it works in Africa. If people in Australia, Congolese in Australia or Nigeria, all Africans say, if they welcome you, you're welcomed already. But they're gonna go, I know your pastor, Peter Bundoli, he's gonna go to Congo and see David's parents and said, David is secured. And so they will not be worried. But if he goes to Congo, is that all right?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. He stood in as David's father. He was the father at the wedding, but he was also the one that married us. But he has been David's, our church family were the ones that stood for David and accepted me.
Exactly. So that we answer that question. So Liz, any more questions? Or we go to
no, yeah, let's proceed.
Heidi, what have you got?
Yes, I wanted to ask you a question about, so in terms of counseling, you said that you've got this, priest that, or father that actually counseled you. Did you seek any professional counseling at all?
No, I feel like I don't want to do all the talking, but he's always the one that hides behind me. So just so you know, I'm not the one talking.
No, that's all right.
Do you want to talk?
Yeah, you talk first. I'll talk in my right.
He doesn't like talking, so we've got to get him going. Let's ask him some questions.
But David can answer. Do you believe in professional counseling, David, before marriage? Do you believe in it? Do you think you have to do that?
Look, you can, or it depends what you looking to be counseled for. You know what I mean? Because for me, I trust our pastors. Actually, he's been counseling us for a long time.
Right.
Few issues that we had, and then he been good for that. So actually, we went through for that, and he counseled us. Actually, went all right. So I didn't have any another problem that to go to the other counsel to counsel us. So I haven't seen any professional counsel yet, but for what we had, our pastor, he did right. So I reckon that was enough for me for that time. So
and just to add that to that, it certainly has been something that we've talked about over the years, because in marriage, there's always something that you're dealing with. But I think for us, yes, it has been something with the cross cultures that it hasn't just been something that we dealt with at the start and that was it. There's constantly, after 16 years, there's constant cultural barriers that we come up against. And it's not because either of us are disrespecting each other's cultures. It's just a mere lack of understanding at times of, okay, well, normally in a situation like this, this is how I would deal with it. I'm the sort of person, for example, that will just talk straight away and say it how it is and just approach and want to deal with it there and then. David's the sort of person that it needs to be, okay, let's talk about it in the right setting. Let's all be calm when we're talking. Let's time, even if that means in 1 week. But I'm like, no, this now, fix now. And so there's been things that have caused us to, would we benefit from professional counselling? And I agree with professional counselling. I think it's just so important to find who that professional counsellor would be. In every situation, it would be different. As David said, it's depending on what it's for. If you find a counsellor that's going to just take his side or my side and you both come away even more wounded, then what fruit is going to be out of that? So I think it's really important to assess the situation and what you're going through and what the best way forward, because we're no longer in that church with that pastor. We're still friends with him, we still have a relationship, but it's not the same to be able to go to him and go, we need help. So it's season by season also.
Fair enough. And would you say that that what glued you together in this relationship for 16 years, would you say it's love or values?
Oh, that's a good question.
I've actually got a similar question.
But, well, I reckon both.
I think a bit of
It's both.
I think both.
Because I love it so much, and then we stand for our values well. We value one another, and it's very important. So I reckon we do both.
I think it's both.
It's both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Helen.
Thanks.
Thank you for that question, challenging us.
No, I actually got a similar question, and I'm gonna get there. That's gonna even.
She's a watch. When we get embarrassing, she turn red, and I turn black.
And what do you get? You get that
I
at
get blue or something. So they're like, she's gonna turn it red in minutes here. So it's
That's too funny.
all right.
Wow. Ellie, your question. There you go.
Yeah, so can I ask, how do you navigate, like, say, Rebecca, when you have friends come over and you're up all night chatting, because that's what us girls do, we just love to chat. But, you know, David's like, well, no, it's time for them to leave, or vice versa. David's got a mate that's come over and they've just connected, you know, maybe that he's from the Congo as well. And so they're hanging out all night together. And like, how did you navigate the difference in cultural boundaries with that of, you know, people who come and stay and never seem to leave, kind of all night stayers kind of thing? Like,
Yeah, that's a really good question. I guess when David and I met, we were in a gathering of a community of people that were both very mutual friends of ours. So along the journey of this whole 16 years, I can honestly say David's best friend, who is also from Congo, is probably more my best friend. And I can call him as a brother whenever, even at times when we've gone through things, I've called him, and his wife has called David, and we've had little chats here and there. I think we have been so blessed to have made friends with people that my friends are his friends, his friends are my friends. David is not a party animal. He doesn't go out drinking and partying. He doesn't spend time with people that would ever disrespect the boundary of our marriage. We live in a street where we have it just in our immediate block. There are 4 families. 3 are from Congo, where he's from, and 1 is from Nigeria. And they come and visit. They know they can drop in and visit, but they're so respectful. They don't, if they want to have a longer night, I think they just respect that David knows that David, when he feels that to have, you know, I feel like just for having a good night, he goes over to their house and he can be there till 11 midnight. I know where he is. I know they're his friends. I know he's eating their traditional food and having a great time. And it doesn't seem to ever, it's never been a problem. His other best friend that was our best man in our wedding, I became so close with him as well, like my brother. So it just happens to be that along this journey, we've had such unity amongst both sides. And it just works.
Listening to you, Rebecca, it looks like you're not the perfect one we're looking for. You're too good. What are you?
No, I'm flawed. I've got so many flaws.
It's so not typical, because, you know, I've got quite a number of Aussie friends, like they like their privacy. And I know African, I was thinking maybe you're going to tell me something similar. African, even though your husband doesn't like to go, but they're very communal. They call people. They can be eating, you know, the meat and drink and just at home, and your husband plays, you know, instruments and all that. Usually you'll be like, enough, I'm sick of these people, I'm tired. But you're like, you know, you are just grooving with them and you let him be. You let him be. That's fantastic.
Well, he hasn't got any family here. And so I've been so mindful of the fact that he needs that time with his people. And there's times when he will ask me to go, come be with me. And sometimes I'll go and I'll be with him and we'll be all there together. And then other times I respect that he wants to speak his language. He wants to enjoy some time. And, you know, it's important. I just feel it's really important for him to have that. In saying that, there certainly have been times where there was one time even more recently where David, I'm big on Christmas and special events. And I'm always wanting to we often open our home to people that don't have families, don't have places to go. And that can involve Africans, Australians from, you know,
different places.
And this year, my family were not coming together. And David really, really just had this desire to have a Christmas with his people. And we're both very hospitable. Our home is very open. We have meals around our table with all cultures. This year, David decided, I'm going to open the house up and I'm going to invite my people this year. And I must admit, that challenged me. I think I was the only white person here. And I'm very particular with my house. I have certain ways that I keep my kitchen, and people just know, just that's my place.
I was being
respect that.
Time,
so that almost did cause a little bit of a it did cause a stir in the home, because we had, I would say, at least 40 people here.
Are you serious?
And he had it in the garage, but it was like Christmas was very hot, so people were wanting the air conditioner. And so people were coming inside, and I'm feeling like, oh, we've got kids running in and out and slamming doors and stealing drinks and putting their dirty hands everywhere. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. And David's like, let him go, Dal, let him go, touching the computer, wrecking things. I'm like, I can't let him go. This is my house. They'll go at the end of this day, but I'm going to be left with a destroyed home. So it did cause a little bit of friction. I'm going to be honest. It caused us to not see eye to eye on Christmas night. And to be honest, I escaped to my room. They were not going anywhere. Midnight came, the music's on, they're all partying, dancing, enjoying their time. And I'm thinking, okay, they've been here since 3 p.m. We really need to wrap this up now. And so that was hard. I took that because he was like, no, these are my people. We're going to have a great time. He was loving it. But I was just thinking of all the things that were not going right on that day. And I was like, and this is Christmas. And I think I ended up in tears even. So I'm not going to make it sound like, oh, it's all just wonderful and our culture's coming together has been perfect. No, we have our moments where it's like, whoa, and I was like, you need to respect that this is, I clean this home, I cook in this home, and you're just going to invite people. We didn't even know half the people. I'd never met them before.
So this time it just went over.
And I was like, okay, if there were the people that we do life together that are from both of our cultures, or Africans that are out from, but I'd never met them. Like a lot of them, I didn't know them. No one was speaking English. And I'm like, hello, I'm here too.
We're all human.
It was quite hard to control, you know what I mean? Because I know that we Africans, sometimes when we meet together, we're just gonna speak to our language, you know what I mean? We feel like there's some flavor on it. We just, express very well to speak in that language, but she didn't get that time. So what I did, I get all these things I couldn't do in those times.
You made up for it.
I just made up for it. And I warned her. I said, there's gonna be quite a lot of people. So I did. I know she was a bit mad, but I said, look, at least wise, you know what I mean? Just have some fun with the friends and stuff.
I have to
but generally, Rebecca, you don't have problem with people speaking their language, Africa next to you.
No.
I don't, unless it's been depending on the situation. Like when we go over to one of his very close friends who just lives over the road, it will be his friend, the one who says, no, speak English. Mama Rebecca here, speak English. It depends on the environment. It depends on the situation. But going back to what happened before, I said to him, I have to give it to him, because he did. Normally in a situation like that, I know the culture of Africa would be the expectation upon me to prepare the food, cook for everyone. He didn't expect that. He did the food preparation. He organized all that, because I said, I'm not cooking for 50 people. And normally a cultural marriage of Africa would be like the men can do all the entertaining and the woman can cook. But I said, I'm not. So he even cooked. He got the meat. He prepared it.
That was my next question. That was the question I have on my list. Like the cooking at home.
Yeah.
I've seen you cook our food in Ghana and Gary before.
Yes.
Who majorly cooks at home? And do you have different pots?
To be honest, when we got married, I did not, and I'm not kidding, I did not know how to cook rice.
Even rice.
So
wow.
David was
terrible.
David rice. For an African man, that's an insult, isn't it?
No, that's bad.
I didn't know how to cook rice. I lived on good, healthy food, but it was always like I love my healthy.
She was giving
organic.
raw mushroom. You know, mushroom.
Raw mushroom.
Yeah.
God help you, you're not dead yet.
I was like, I'm dying right now. I don't know what I'm going to do right now.
Get rice and lots of veggies, half cooked, nice and raw. And he was like, what is this? But he taught me how to cook. And David grew up in a home where he had to fend for himself. If he didn't, he was around with different families growing up. So he had to learn how to be a good cook. So he's taught me how to cook. And I believe I'm pretty good cook now, but only because of
not bad.
his teaching. And who does majority?
She's good. Actually, she's really good cook. And I'm not just cook very good food. Not just Western food, but even African food. She's being really good. Actually, she cooked very well now. Congratulations.
I've seen that. I saw that. Fantastic. You already told us your courtship was not even long, 6 months. So really, it's not in how long you dated for, really. It's only if God's hand is upon your relationship, you saw, like I always say, you soak it in the word of God. So, then it's probably what is the sustenance that is happening to you now. So money, I want to talk about money. Does David send money to Africa, and do you let him send money? Because that's a big one that people, they say, no, it's only our money. We don't do that. We even support people we don't know, like you do here. You support homeless, you support whatever. So us too, we support people back home. It could be people that have contributed somehow to our life for us to be here today, or maybe people that give us lunches to go to school sometimes, all that. How do you do that? Does that happen?
David has a very big heart, a very big heart. Whenever he gives, it's never out of a feeling of, oh, I have to do this. It's always out of a very, very big heart of compassion. Now, it has been something that I have had to, I've struggled with at times because I've never met his family. I've never experienced the culture of how they live. David comes from a family that are not rich. They do it very tough. There are times when his family sometimes don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And as Christians, I believe that it's so important for us to, if you've got something in your hand that you can share and give, then I'm in support of that. And I have to also commend David, because David is a very, very hardworking man. He works, he's got 3 jobs, and he never ever takes from our family bank account and we have to go without so that his family is provided for. If there's a need back home in Africa, David will go out and get extra work. Just recently, it's happened to us where one of his family members
jailed.
Right. One of them was put into jail over a very unjust situation. It was his blood sister. And that weighed on David very heavily. And he knew that the only way that he was going to be able to get her out of prison was through sending money. So David, and this is where God has been so good to us. A job came along. David's a photographer and a sound engineer that he works on the side from home. A job came along, and I've watched him put in these hours and hours of work just so that he can get all of that money and send it back home. And it's not money that would cause us to, oh, well, we go without this week. It just happens to be, often it's extra money that's come in and it goes straight over there so that they can get out of prison. His mum was dying at one point, and they wouldn't treat her in the hospital unless we sent money, unless she had money to get the treatment. So again, he went out, he found the work, he got the extra money and was able to get her treatment and out of hospital. We had 2 deaths just recently. 2 of his uncles died, and it was going to cost a certain amount to bury them. They didn't have the money. David was able to go out, get extra work. And that's why I have to commend him, because he works so hard for us. He always puts us first, but he always finds something to send back home. And it never causes an issue, because he never comes to me and says, I'm doing it whether you like it or not, and I'm taking it out of our family money. And if we don't eat this week, well, my family need to live. So he's so respectful of that. And I'm so blessed, because I know I can see how it could get very sticky in a cross-cultural marriage, sending money back home. So thankfully, with us, we're able to communicate about it. We're able to come to an agreement, and it's never done deceitfully. It's never done through strife or fighting. And it just honestly, again, it's God.
Becca, you are, I'm telling you, we know you, and our assumption is not, you have not disappointed us, because even people with the same culture, this topic that we're talking about has nothing to do with interracial. I'm just saying it because we know it, but it's foreign to you. That's why we're raising this point. Even within us, it's a big deal. A lot of people still find it difficult for husband to send money or for wife to send money, whereas we've got different hearts. Some people just have compassion, and some people just know that little money, what we're talking about sometimes is not even big money, and they just go crazy and just want to hold everything to them just to eat. And thank God that you could recognize your husband and the heart that he's got. Sometimes it's his heart, he can't even change it. If you change it, you're gonna break him.
But you know what it's taught me through it too? We have a problem in this very Aussie cultural background that I'm from. We don't, we love our parents, but we don't show them. I've got 3 brothers, and I've seen the way we tend to lack respect and honor towards them. And although David hasn't seen his mum now for 10 years, he's only seen her once in 20 years. His heart is always that's the one that brought me into this world. That's the one that carried me in her womb for 9 months. And it's my, I'm blessed to look after her. I'm blessed to sow into her and do whatever I can for the remaining years of her life. And that has taught me a lot outside of the topic of money, because it's teaching our children that when we get older, that hopefully it's setting a value for them of how they'll honor us and look after us, because my brothers don't necessarily go out of their way to take care of my parents, and it really affects my parents emotionally at times, because they feel like it's pretty much only our family that are there for my parents, and they're in their 70s now. They could be in difficult situations, but my brother's like, oh, they'll work it out. Whereas David, the minute his mum is in need, he's just like, no, that's my mum, that's my blood. Without her, I wouldn't be here. So it's taught me a lot, and our children a lot, about the value of, the price our parents pay for us and how to honor that.
Fantastic. Wow, well done. Ladies, do you think we have to bring this couple again?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, we're going to bring you, because we got so much that we want to ask you. For example, one of the things we were going to ask is buying things for the kids, the gifts. We know that Aussie, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've got my friends, so I'm using my friends and family as a standard here. There's toys here, Toys R Us. The whole house is full of toys. $1,000 of toys. Like, what do they do with it?
Yeah.
The kids play with it, they throw it away, they break it. Waste of money. We could look after some homeless people with it. And I know Africans, they're very thrifty, considering how much they work hard, that 3 jobs, 4 jobs. I'm not going to do all that to buy $200 for that you're going to break. But I know my Aussie friend will say, oh, it's all right. They're just playing with it. They're going to play with something. So does that happen in your home?
I have to say, for me, I'm maybe a little bit different to a lot of people in my culture. I'm very frugal. So I'm the type of person that I can stretch $10 to go very far, because we've had to learn to live on a very strict budget. And so for me, the kids know if they want something, go to Papa, because Papa will lavish them, he will bless them, but he's wise. He worked very hard recently my son's a drummer, and he sees the value in investing into them, not with something like a toy that's going to get broken and throw it away, but he sees the value of, well, if I spend that money on a drum kit for him, that's going to invest into the gift he has to play drums. And he's only 11, but he's a brilliant drummer. And I was a little bit like, you're going to spend that much on drums? And he says, Beck, I've got this. This is for Israel's future. So whenever he lavishes or blesses the kids, yes, sometimes I'm going, oh, what are you doing? That's way too much. I would never spend that. But I think we balance each other out very well because we have both, we're not really ones to buy useless things for our kids. It's often, we've taught our kids to be grateful for the small things in life.
Yeah.
If it costs $2, look after it, value it, show us that you're worthy of getting that next one. So we've raised our kids not with a throwaway mentality, but an attitude of gratitude, because we've had to learn to live on a very little budget, but I think we've done it pretty well.
Pretty well, yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
That's good.
That answers it, but I've got a whole list that I truly have not scratched the surface. I've got some big ones, but please, would you do us an honor to come back next week?
Yeah, we'd love to come back.
Wow, yeah,
I think, is it the same time next week or?
Same time next week.
Next week I have a wedding. I'm a bridesmaid in a wedding, so I don't think I'll be here at this time. With the coronavirus restrictions, David is not allowed to come because it's a maximum of 20 people.
Right.
But do you do this each week, each Saturday night, or?
Each Saturday night.
Right. We might be able to do it the following.
Okay.
Yeah, the
All right.
following.
Because we have not scratched the surface.
Yeah. So it's good for us because it challenges us to I think
sometimes I have to squeeze it. What are you talking about?
because sometimes he gets very because I'm a very, very open person. I tell you everything. He's like too much information.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, a lot of people, in fact, when we posted the flyer, people have been commenting. People are really interested in this, and I know a lot of my family are married, interracial as well. They're really interested in this. They've got questions I haven't even touched. I've got questions I haven't, and I'm not going to ask you the last question. So it's going to be the end of it. I'm going to ask you this serious question. It's burning, but I'm going to hold
away.
I'm gonna say, because it's our time is up as we do, but if we start next week, we will not do this. Maybe upper week will bring you back because we need to get to the bottom of this. You're just a good example, not just to Aussie community, but to the nation as a whole, especially considering what is going on, racism, all this. People need to consider. People need to consider people like you. You've got 4 children. You've got nations in your home, that you brought to this world, and they from both ends. One of my friends, a guy that I met this afternoon coincidentally came to my boutique and we were talking, and he says, I told my children they're 100% African and 100% Australian. So building these children with that confidence and say you're not half, you're complete and total in yourself. So people that are racist, people that are nasty and negative, they're just going to consider the children that are coming out of this relationship and how we're meeting together and how the whole world is a small village now. So they need to think and to have mutual respect for one another and to value one another. So I'm going to say thank you so much for coming. From all the ladies, all of us, we appreciate it. And they're going to see you again. So if people have got questions, send it to us because the winners are surely coming back next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us and for allowing us to speak. I mean, I don't even think we feel licensed to speak about this. So the fact that you're thinking we can bring something is a blessing for us. It's an honor.
Thank you very much.
You are more than
Thank you so much.
The ladies, you want to in a word, appreciate the winners for us, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So good to chat with you all.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Same here. Liz, your final word?
In the light of what we were talking about, really, I think Rebecca and David are presenting a beautiful example, and from an outside perspective, I would rather say a perfect example of an interracial marriage and how, just communicating and valuing each other can lead to not necessarily the most rosy 16 years and beyond, but you can live together and you can have a happy family.
Thank you very much.
Now that brings me tears to my eyes, because David and I have been through a lot in this marriage. We have really fought to keep this marriage.
Yeah.
And it has taken every fiber of our being to fight to keep what we have. It has not been an easy road at all. We might sit here tonight and make it look like, oh, and we do love each other and we laugh and we get along so well together. But we certainly have had very, very trying times, very painful times, very confronting times in this 16 years. And there has been many occasions where we've both wanted to just call it quits and walk away. And many a times. But I think to hear, you know, even you say that, Liz, is such a blessing, because I never knew that God would use it like this to sit before you and share our story. Because, I mean, it's been hard enough just trying to get through the issues we've had, let alone, you know, come and stand before you guys, that if we could offer even a tiny little bit of something to you, that blesses us. And that is just an honor. It really is, because it's certainly been a very tumultuous 16 years of lots of every flavor going on. So yeah, it's a joy. It's such a blessing to speak about it.
Just remember, Rebecca, whatever both of you are doing, you're doing it for all. You're doing it for the whole world to see. So truly, we can't thank you enough. Heidi, your last word.
Well, I'm a psychosomatic therapist, and I look after people that don't have their mind, body, and soul in harmony, their own mind, body, and soul in harmony. And seeing like two beautiful people in harmony together, two minds, two bodies, two souls, that's just beautiful. I really, really am blessed to meet you, and I'm very honored to have you on the show. It's been a beautiful talk, and we'd love to invite you again. I'm very, very blessed and honored, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Please don't make me run all my mascara off.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rebecca.
So for me, I think it's very encouraging just to hear the two of you speak. And like I come from, my background is that I was married to a Zambian for 3.5 years, and that didn't work out. And I credit you, David, for your attitude towards the financial side of things. Everything that you do is everything that my ex never did. Yeah, he was the flip side of things, you know. But yeah, I just really like the fact that, as you said, Rebecca, that you fought for each other. And I think that's where it's at. You have to both be willing to fight to stay together.
Right.
So yeah, to your credit to the both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
They've said everything. If I have to say something, I'll be crying myself, because I better just keep short, but I just to say thank you so much, and I appreciate it. For everybody that is watching, this is possible and it's doable. But you just have to have someone. I think Rebecca started by honoring someone, honoring their senior pastor, and believe that whatever counseling is given to them is enough. And she really wanted the relationship to work, allowed the husband to be himself, and just value the husband. And I appreciate even little thing that the man does and put into the relationship, and vice versa. Like David said, from day one, he knew this is the wife. So you guys need to come in 2 weeks' time and listen to the winners again. And their children, we haven't even talked about those ones. They're brilliant kids. One of them was in America like a year or two ago, representing the nation. So you've worked really hard, and your pain and all that, God is blessing you and blessing through your children. And you've only just begun. Your best days are still ahead of you.
Amen.
And we really love you and appreciate you. And now we tell you, we're just going to say bye-bye for now, and see you this time next week. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.